Hello YouTube, Infinite Magicraid community, Gandalf here, and I am back from vacation for the most part, because next week I still have to go on a work trip, and after that I can finally get back to my regular recording schedule. But want to take this opportunity over the long weekend here in Canada, over the civic holiday, to bring you quite a few videos and catch up on all the things we haven't got a chance to cover. First of all, I want to, do a quick video on what is it like in trial division. A few days ago, I did a lengthy 1 hour long video explaining my thoughts on the whole division system and maybe players, as much as the attempt is to lessen the gap as players go from, one division to the next, we're still going to feel some big jumps, especially. I mean, this was always true with the zone merges. This was supposed to make things easier, trying to protect the new players from a better gaming experience, but the reality will soon hit them as soon as they get to the next division. So let's take a look. I mean, we are now part of zone 106 to 108, and we haven't felt the brunt of it yet because for the first week, I think Classic Arena, if we look at the ranking, it is still all the people from 108. I'm pretty sure next week this is about to change. We already see it right now on all the events that has refreshed already. So for example, Challenge Grillin, you can see the event ranking. We're starting to see people from 107. Drax is from 107. Satan's from 106. So you see I'm all of a sudden now usually easily ranked in the top 10, 20. Now I'm down to 34. So that's why I say in the first week, really take advantage of the fewer competition. Really farm those mythic shards because it's just going to get harder and harder as we merge and get to higher divisions. The pain is already felt in championship, in the trial division. Championship, really, you're actually having proper 3v3s. And you can clearly see, I'm the underdog here on multitude fronts. I think I'll be lucky if I can get, okay, that was lucky, 1 versus 3. I'm ranked 9 right now, but I have seen some real monsters here from 108. People are already having E3 Santas with Pandas, E3 Adkins. Like, these are almost fully flushed out teams that I'm going to be really struggling up against. So I might sacrifice one of my team against the rest. I feel like I can outspeed the last one. Let's fingers crossed and see if we can get a win on the latter of the two. But yeah, competition is definitely a lot tougher. The Bushido Guild on server 106 is quite competitive of a guild. So, last week I was able to finishing top 8. I highly doubt how that's going to play out. War of Throne, it's probably going to get just as difficult. We're definitely going to see, the 106 Bushido Guild probably dominate in a lot of the final battles. So we'll see how it plays out this week. Going to be very challenging for us next week when we get into Guild Arena if we have to face them. The other part I would say is, covering some of the events. You've noticed I went ahead and grabbed a E1 Santa. That really helps stabilize things, allow me to, on this account, if you look, Guild Boss for Stage 5, I'm able to now 1 key over 200 mil, but I can only do about a little bit over 100 mil. So I do 2 keys on 6 and 1 on 5. It's about the same as 1 key on each if you only do 100 mil. My goal really is to hopefully get to 200 mil on 6, then eventually go for the 400 mil. The biggest problem we see with boss level 6 is HP burn is drastically reduced because the boss will apply 50% HP reduction on you, making it really difficult to get a lot of damage through HP burn. The way to combat that, there's a few really good heroes early game that work really well. One is the dianmu indreh combo. Dianmu indreh is really if you really plan it out as you think about rerolling, getting dianmu and indreh basically will carry you through early game, middle game, even into late game. It's a boring style of gameplay, but it's highly effective. That's pretty much where you want to dump all of your eyes early front if you're free to play. I want to give a special shout out to Ab Resolve. He's completely free to play, and I don't know if there's a way to see how well he's progressing. Maybe on his dungeons. Yeah, you can see like his guild boss 10 turns already 408. He's 320 on Tower Mark. Faction Abyss, he's already got his first Agatha, right? He's gotten pretty darn far on his content. He's completely free to play. He did a lot of rerolls. He's basically got a dianmu indreh, and it's basically carrying him through a lot of content. So great for him, not spending a single dollar so far. I'm probably, if we look at our budget, right? I think, if we remember, and remember, I'm doing this not with reroll, really representing kind of the average luck. Actually, I'll say I have really bad luck, to be honest. And what I'm trying to do is do content, right? When you do content, is you might not actually end up doing the most optimal strategy. You just try to explore different things so you can share with people what works and what doesn't. If everyone's just going for the most effective path, I think, I reflected that in our video a while ago as well. Basically, reroll for dianmu indreh, put all of your eyes on that, build your team around that. You will, go through the PvE content relatively easily, get all of that done, then start building up, I guess, teams, for each of the damage type little by little. And that probably, is how you'll play through. I talked about this week. I will be working on the mirror store, almost there. When we hit the 7,000 mark, we're going to be able to buy this chest and grab indreh from there. Obviously, I didn't reroll. I had really poor luck. Had to buy my dianmu as well. Only have one copy of her right now, so we still got a ton of work to do. Experimented with a whole bunch of heroes. Clearly, Barry is a bad choice. Astodon is a bad choice. These are heroes that require both, you either need exclusive to work, you need effective hit as well as mastery for them to work. So a lot of these heroes don't work well. Veronica doesn't work well. Don't try any of these. Any of the newer heroes, if you happen to get, invest in those. So this is purely experimental and to show you guys what not to do on this account. Obviously, that's costing me resources, and you can see budget wise, I think I'm 475 in voucher wise. So just keeping tabs on that in terms of, so you can kind of benchmark, where you are in terms of the progress. I'm not being efficient. I think I made that clear time and time again. But what's about to happen this week really is, into the trial division, we are going to be faced with tough competition. I was mentally prepared for that. I wasn't really ready for it, but we're kind of facing the wrath of the server 106 guild. But with that, we'll push along. Like I promised you, this account will keep going. We will make mistakes along the way, but we'll see where we get in one full year and how far we can actually land on the ultimate division once we get there. So with that, talking about what you really want to focus on now that you kind of transition into middle game, I would say don't be tempted by what's actually in the handbook, because in here you feel like, it's about pushing Faction Abyss, it's about pushing my Tower of Mark. What I'll say, while that is true, finishing your Tower of Mark do get you some mythic shards that help you farm more efficiently. What's more important is just pushing one of them, to be honest. For me, I'm at 29. It's, after I get Nordak, I'm going to be able to farm 30 relatively easily. You just need to be efficient in one of them. You will, with due time, you'll be able to farm the rest. What is important, I think, there's a couple of things you want to hit. One, with Elemental City, I find people are kind of sleeping on. The rewards are actually pretty decent, especially some of the early stages. Don't forget to do them. I would say 46 is a big one you want to hit. The other one is 52. 52, you get that one extra eye every 2 weeks if you're free to play. In hard stage, if you can get to 61, that's even awesome. Early game, I would say 52 is a really good mark. Try to get special stages 1, 2, 3 done. 4 and 5, you kind of need decent faction teams for them. Like just slowly progressing on that every week. Don't forget to do it. Other ones, Endless Cloister. This is something you can do really early on without much difficulty. Like with full buffs, 360, you should be able to get past 24 relatively easily for the most part. Like I was literally using the buffs for it. And at this point, just make sure you do this. This is rewards you're freely picking up. Purgatory of 7 Sins. I think the biggest issue is forgetting to actually claim your keys. Like for me, every week just push one as far as you can. Use your best team with something that matches the damage type. Hopefully you have enough damage in that damage type to do enough DPS. Other than that, just even if you just do 15 all of them, that's still okay. Just the key thing is remember to use your keys and don't forget to use your keys. I would say dianmu indreh is pretty big in the sense that dianmu indreh is going to help you with pushing Wuthering Coast. Just a single team. Like right now I am doing I'm barely doing I think 400 mil if we think about the ranking and the rewards. You should be able to hit, like I'm around here, I'm barely here. Like you should be able to hit close to anywhere between 3 to 6. 3 to 6. Like somewhere around here. Like around just with a dianmu indreh team. Maybe with a little bit more of a buff in there. I'm thinking you should be able to get around maybe at least the 3.2 mark, but that's a huge improvement over getting like 10. It's like 4 times the amount, and this is pretty big in terms of your progress. Like getting somewhere into this range is going to be really helpful for you. So you should set your early game goals to build your team around what you can push for Guild Boss 6. What you can do for here, like Guild Ball 6, what you can push for Wuthering Coast, and what you can actually push here. Because difficulty is getting, with Trial Division, man, it's so much harder. I am now ranked more like in the 50 to 100 range as opposed to in the top 10. It's just that much harder in Trial Division. Of course, it's going to get harder and harder as we progress. But doing well on this is going to help with your overall progression a lot more. This one, like prioritize your team on this. I would say the reward for Faction Abyss, like we used to think, oh, I'm progressing so far, like I want to be able to move on all of these and get Agatha. No, this is not worth your time and effort. Don't prioritize your hero on this. You just need to make one of these faction work really well. For me, I'm focusing on Dragon Tribe, but once I get dianmu and indreh going, I should be able to push Saga City even further. I should actually just see if this works. No, not yet. But I feel like with dianmu and indreh, I might be able to do really well and push quite a few stages on here with just a 3-man team. So we'll see how that goes once I get my dianmu and indreh going, and this might be my primary faction over the next little while after I kind of farm out Dragon Tribe. But the key is to just push one really high. Don't worry about the overall completion. Focusing on Agatha is not good progression for your time and effort spent anymore. And the last piece I'll say is working on dungeons is really helpful, but really going from say 30, like if you think about the 30 drop rate versus something like a 33, yeah, it does feel a little bit better, but not really. Like even if you go to 35, right? 35 from 30, your drop rate between 5 and 6 is about the same. You do your legend and epic elite rate, you're still at like 4% legend versus a 2% legend. Like your epic rate goes from 15% down up to like 17. It's not game changing from 30 to 35. So what really pushes is things get drastically better once you start pushing into the higher stages, which you will not be able to. So I would say, being able to farm stage 30 consistently is probably really good. Being able to push a little bit farther is nice, but is not as useful. So that's why I would say, the priorities of the game really has changed in terms of mid-game progression. I would highly recommend focus on all the things in Abyssal Prison first, and naturally make the natural progressions, on your dungeons or in your faction abyss that way. So that's kind of my first impression as I got into Trial Division. And in terms of, spending this week, I kind of already covered the event in the other day. My code is up. So for all of my wonderful supporter out there, enjoy the 5% extra discount when you use Gandalf 5. And I'll catch you next time. Gandalf out.